that is light. Light. Light is a form of electromagnetic radiation or radiant energy that enables us to see things. Light starts from a source and bounces off objects which are perceived by our eyes, and our brain processes this signal, which eventually enables us to see. Light provides us means of communication also. The fiber optic cables, consisting of many glass fibers, transport hundreds of telephonic conversations over long distances. What is the nature of light? Light behaves as a ray. Example is reflection. It can behave like wave. Example, interference and diffraction. It can also behave as particles. Example, photoelectric effect. When light is incident on another medium. When light travels from one medium to another medium, three things can happen. Either light can get absorbed, that we call absorption of light, or it can get bounced back, that is called reflection of light, or it can passes through and bends, that is refraction of light. When light is incident on a plane mirror, most of it gets reflected and only some of it gets absorbed in the medium. So, reflection of light by another medium, that we are now learning. A medium that is polished well without any irregularities on its surface will cause regular reflection of light, which we have learned in class 8. Do you remember that? For example, a plane mirror. It's a very polished surface without any irregularities on the surface. So it can help light to get reflected. So when is light striking this mirror or very polished surfaces, the main thing is reflection. Predominantly it will be reflected, but some amount of light always gets absorbed by the surface. Do you remember laws of reflection? Incident ray, reflected ray and normal all lie on the same plane. And second law is that angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. You can just see the figure given here. Incident ray, reflected ray, angle of incidence, angle of reflection. And remember, for a reflected ray is always angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. And here I just want to add one thing. There are two types of reflection. One is regular reflection, one is irregular reflection. What is the meaning of irregular reflection? When light gets reflected from an irregularly surfaced object. But remember, in irregular reflection also, laws of reflection will hold good. Whenever you see the word reflection, that means the laws are holding good. So for irregular reflection or diffuse reflection also, laws will be holding good. Of images formed by different surfaces. And later on we'll go for plane mirror. Images can be real or virtual, erect or inverted, magnified or diminished. A real image is formed by the actual convergence of light rays. A virtual image is the apparent convergence of diverging light rays. If an image formed is upside down, then it is called inverted, or else it is an erect image. If the image formed is bigger than the object, then it is called magnified. If the image formed is smaller than the object, then it is diminished. Now, image formation by a plane mirror or the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror. The image formed by a plane mirror is always virtual. You cannot capture it on a screen or you cannot take it on a cloth or paper. But when we look through the mirror, we see ourselves erect. So the image formed by a plane mirror is always virtual and erect. Object and image are equidistant from the mirror. Image is laterally inverted. They will just sidewise, they will be inverted. You can just look through the diagram. I have written here F. You are getting same size erect F, but only the lateral sides are changed. So it is laterally inverted. Right will appear as left, left will appear as right. But the size of the image and object are same. We are now coming to the spherical mirrors. There are two types of spherical mirrors, concave mirror and convex mirror. First, let's learn about concave mirror. We know that a cut out of a reflective sphere is a spherical mirror. If the reflective surface is on the side curved inwards, it is a concave mirror. If you hold a spoon in front of your eyes, the curved in portion will act as concave mirror. Concave mirrors are commonly used as shaving mirrors or by dentists and even in telescopes. The reflected image is magnified, but the field of view is limited. Concave mirrors are also called converging mirrors. Why? Because they help in converging the incident rays. Next is convex mirror. If the reflective surface is curved outwards, bulged out, that means the spoon's other side, bulged out portion, that is a convex mirror. Convex mirrors are used extensively as part of car mirrors. Depending on the focal length, the reflected image is reduced in size, but the field of view is more. You must have noticed it when you have traveled in cars. This is very useful for drivers as the blind spots are drastically reduced. Convex mirrors are also called fish eye or diverging mirrors because it helps to diverge the incident rays. You can recognize these mirrors easily as the outward bulge is quite evident most of the time. Certain important terms related to spherical mirrors. First thing is pole. The midpoint of a spherical mirror is termed as pole. Just watch the diagram given here. Both types of mirrors are drawn over here. The first one is concave, second one is convex. Just the middle point of both the mirrors are termed as pole. Center of curvature, C. The center of the sphere that the spherical mirror was a part of, C. The radius of curvature is termed as R. You can write smaller, you can write capital R. The distance between the center of curvature and the spherical mirror is called the radius of curvature. The radius will intersect the mirror at the pole. There are many radii of curvatures, actually innumerous number of. Then principal axis. The line passing through the pole and the center of curvature is the principal axis. So next we are coming to focus. All rays parallel to the principal axis converge at a point between the pole and center of curvature for a concave mirror. The first diagram you can see. This point is called as the focal point or focus. Since the parallel rays after reflection are really meeting at focus for a concave mirror, so we say concave mirror has a real focus. And all rays parallel to the principal axis appear to come out from a point on the principal axis for a convex mirror, and that point is called focal point or focus of the convex mirror. A convex mirror has a virtual focus because they are appearing to come out, they are not really coming out. Focal length, distance between pole and focus, is called focal length. We symbolize focal length by small f. And there is a relation between radius of curvature and focal length. What is that? R is equal to 2f. R is the radius of curvature. Small f is the focal length. So what are the uses of convex mirror? Convex mirrors are used as rear view mirrors, side view mirrors of cars because it forms small erect image and it can help the driver to see behind the car. It also can be used for security mirrors in ATMs. Security mirrors are kept near the ATM machines so that the bank customer can check that somebody is behind them or not. Uses of concave mirror. Satellite dishes. One of the most important uses of a concave mirror is satellite dishes. These are used to receive the weaker signals sent from the communication satellites and then amplify it. These signals strike the concave mirror in parallel rays and get reflected back. These reflected rays are concentrated at the focus of the mirror. The main purpose of this mirror is to gather weaker signals coming from large areas and concentrate them at one point. Second is headlights in a car. A powerful source of light is kept at the focus point of the concave mirror in a smaller space at the back of the headlight. Any light striking the mirror from the focus will get reflected parallel to the axis of concave mirror. Shaving mirror, another use of concave mirror. The image formed after the reflection of concave mirrors is helpful for people while shaving. Presentation of images formed. This is very, very important. You need to learn these rules and you have to really understand these rules to apply it for getting the images. Out of the 3 rules we are going to learn, any 2 rules you have to apply to get the image formation. Because image formation is not possible unless until you get minimum 2 reflected rays. So now let's learn the rules. A ray passing through the center of curvature hits the concave or convex spherical mirror and retraces its path. Look at the first set of diagrams. The ray is coming through center of curvature and it will go back after reflection also in the same path in the opposite manner. Second rule, rays parallel to the principal axis passes through the focal point or focus for concave mirror and appear to come out of the focal point or focus for a convex mirror after reflection. See the diagrams? Parallel to the principal axis is passing through focus. Second set of diagrams you have to watch. Or for convex mirror, if the ray is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection, if you produce it backwards, it will appear to come out of the focus from the principal axis. Third rule, rays passing through focal point or focus for a concave mirror will be parallel to the principal axis after reflection. And for a concave mirror, rays will be really passing. But for a convex mirror, it will appear to come out of the focus and will be parallel after reflection. So look at the last set of diagrams. If the ray is passing through the focus for concave mirror, after reflection it will be parallel. And for convex mirror, if the ray is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection it will, if you produce it backwards, then it will appear to come out of the focus. So please remember these rules so that you can confidently draw the image formation diagrams. Formations by spherical mirrors in the next class, but I have given you a table, that is image formation by concave mirrors table. If you go through it, then you will understand what will be the position of the object and what will be the position of the relevant image and its nature and size. For different positions of objects, we will be getting images at different positions as well as their nature and size will also change. First, we are keeping the object at infinity. Then the image position will be at focused. Size of the image highly diminished, point sized. Nature real and inverted. Second, it is beyond C. C means center of curvature, which can also be termed as 2F, twice the focal length. You will get the position of the image in between F and C. Size still diminished. Nature real and inverted. If you position your object at C, image will be also at C or at 2F. Size, same size. Nature, real and inverted. Keep the object in between C and F. Position of the image will be beyond C. Size is enlarged. Nature, real and inverted. If you position your object at F, image will be formed at infinity. Size highly enlarged. Nature real and inverted. Have you observed one thing? That if you bring the object closer to the mirror, the image is going farther away and the size is becoming enlarged. There is only one unique case. If you place the object in between P and F, then the image will be positioned at the back of the mirror. And as soon as the image is at the back of the mirror, it becomes virtual image. You cannot capture it on a screen. But virtual image means it will be erect. So remember, real means has to be inverted. Virtual will be erect and size is enlarged. For further reinforcement, you can follow this link that will help you to clear your misconceptions. Thank you.